Welcome to the Homeschool Show from North Carolinians for Home Education, our first episode of 2026. I'm Amanda Wares, your host, and I have with me our co-host, Melanie Willis. Hey, Melanie.
Hello, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. This is so exciting. So tell us about what this episode has for us today.
So this is our new year. And so, Amanda, you're going to talk to us a little bit about that it can be truly a new year, a new reboot for homeschooling, if you're in a struggling time. And we're going to talk about applying for the ESA Plus program. And we're going to have a little bit of what we've seen on the internet.
Awesome. All right. So, yes, it is a new year. And I don't know about you. I don't know, Melanie. Do you do New Year's resolutions?
No. That was plain. We have usually I'll pick a word for the year and try to focus on something positive, but I do not want to create a resolution just for me to break it.
Exactly. I know. I think there have been some years that I've tried resolutions, I'm going to go to the gym every day or whatever. And that doesn't last very long, does
This
it?
makes you feel worse about yourself.
Exactly. I do love the idea of a word for the year and just having something really to focus on. But I think when it's a new year, the holidays are behind us and the winter, the time from now until maybe spring break, Easter break feels really long. But this might be a good time to think about if there's anything in your homeschool that you need to tweak. It's a good time to reflect back on the first part of your homeschool year and think about what worked well, what didn't work well. Is there something new that you'd like to implement in your homeschool? Do you want to have a Bible time with your kids in the morning? Or do you want to make sure you're doing a read aloud with, I know a lot of people do read alouds with dad in the evenings, and that's really a great time. So it's a good time to stop and pause, think about, is there something I need to change? Is that curriculum that we struggled with all fall? This is a good time to say, that did not work. It's okay to pivot, find something else, and move on. So I think it's a good time when it seems like everybody in the world is thinking about resolutions or reboot for the new year, to do that same thing in your homeschool and think about what needs to be tweaked. Or maybe you had an awesome first semester of homeschool and you are just ready after the holiday break to get right back into it. And that's great too. You're re-energized, I hope, from the holidays and ready to just jump back in. So how about you, Melanie? Do you do anything like as far as homeschool? Did you ever do anything like think about, okay, it's the new year, let me revamp or
Definitely. And I don't know that it has always ended up being it's the new year, but there's times through the year where it's just like, this isn't working. And that can be scary. And it can be scary to think, well, I bought this curriculum and I need to use it and do every single page in the book. And
Right.
I think that you need to be able to relax and be like, if this isn't working, how much time are we wasting and how much struggle are we having and how much better it could be to be like, let's hit a reset here. And whatever that means, if that means a new curriculum or let's just not do this class for right now, whatever it is, if we need to add something, doing that. But I really think it's always good to stop and evaluate what is working well and what isn't, because it'd be so much better to change rather than looking back and saying, I wasted a whole year doing something that just wasn't working.
Exactly. Yeah. So good. That's so good. I love it. All right. New year, new homeschool.
That's right. So if you look back in episode 190, we had a discussion with Catherine Marker about the ESA Plus program and everything that you need to apply for that. And now is your time. You need to be looking at a plan. You need to gather all of these things together because basically, I think, Amanda, we have about a month. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah, the application opens the 1st of February, and basically you have a month from then. The deadline is usually the beginning of March. Sometimes it'll go a little bit beyond that, but you don't want to count on that. You really want to be ready by February the 1st.
Yes, and there's a lot of things that need to be gathered. It's not
Mhm.
just so simple as filling out a form. There, you need to have things gathered and in your possession to submit with that form. And so now is the time to please, if you are interested in that ESA Plus program, go back and watch episode 190 if you haven't already and find out that information. And we will be sure in this show to post in the notes links to get you where you need to be in order to do that application.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've said it before, but that program really has been helpful, kind of a game changer for a lot of our special needs homeschooling families. So if you don't know anything about it, you can check out that episode. It'll give you great information and kind of tell you what you need to do. And if you can't get it done by this time, then you'll be ready for the next year.
And so, Amanda, we already have a pre recorded video that we did with some questions for what we've seen on the internet. And so let's watch that. So, let's look at what we've seen on the internet and put Amanda in the hot seat again. She's so good at it. So, Amanda, the first thing is we have a parent that wrote that they were getting ready to pull their child out of school. And this particular child had an IEP, and they had kind of set a date. She knew when she was going to pull her child out of school, she was going to quit working. And so she'd already informed him this was the plan. And he went to school and he told one of his teachers, he said, my mom's going to pull me out of school and we're going to homeschool. And the teacher said, oh, that's a terrible idea. And he came home from school nervous and afraid. He's like, Mom, we can't do that. My teacher said it's a bad idea.
Oh dear. Oh dear. I am not quite sure how I would personally respond in that situation, but I think I would be pretty upset if that were me. Um, First off, this is maybe one situation where it might be better not to put all that information out there before it actually happens. And maybe just because of situations just like this, that you never know what some of the other people, and it might be other students, it might be another teacher, that might say some things to your child that would be less than helpful. But what do you do when it's already happened? So I think that, as we've talked about a lot in the past, that when you're starting to homeschool, you have a reason. You have a reason why you have made this plan. You have a reason why you're pulling this student out to homeschool. So I would always go back to that why and just reinforce that with your student and say, hey, this is our plan. This is why we made this plan. We're sticking with it. And we'll reevaluate if that becomes necessary, but this is what we're doing. And just reassure the child that, you know, mom and dad or mom, we've got this. We know what we're doing. We've got a plan. We're going to stick with it.
Absolutely. And I think, it also involves giving some grace to those of us outside of the homeschool circle that don't understand. They don't have the
Yeah.
knowledge to understand. That doesn't make them bad. And so we just need to extend a little bit of grace there. But I totally agree with what you said about not telling. And I've made the mistake so many times of telling my kids beforehand, we're going to do this, or we're going to do this. And I actually
Right.
read in one of my daughter's notebooks not too long ago from a time when she was probably about 9 years old. And there was a whole bunch of things that my mom lied to me. My mom lied to me because I had said, oh, we're going to do,
Yes.
and it didn't come true. I will say
Yes.
I pretty quickly learned, I have 6 children. And so I have learned that I don't tell them anything in advance. All plans to them just happen on the
True.
spot because I have learned that it is much easier
Right.
just to say, "This is what we're doing today," and then, do it instead of having weeks of answering questions about things. Not that questions are bad,
Right.
but
No,
sometimes it's
but
just
then if something doesn't
easier.
work out, like what you're saying,
They weren't planning on it.
sometimes yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
when things, things happen,
absolutely.
and sometimes kids will look at that as like, "Well, you promised," and then it didn't happen, so yeah, absolutely, I think sometimes there's definitely some wisdom in holding back a
A little
little
bit of
bit.
information.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
our next
Right.
question, well, not a question, so to speak, um, but I found a mom that made a post and she titled her post "Mid-Year Panic," and we're not even to mid-year yet, though. But
Oh.
she said, "I started homeschooling. This is my first year homeschooling. I started the end of August, and now I don't think I can do this. I don't think we can finish this year." What
Mm.
advice do you have for this mom?
That's a tough one. It is hard. I think, I look back to my first year homeschooling and I did pull somebody out of school to homeschool. And I've told that story many times. She was not happy about being pulled out to homeschool. And there were a lot of times that first year that I had that same thought. Oh, I've made a terrible mistake. I don't think I can do this. So what I usually tell people is the first year absolutely 100% can be really difficult, especially if you're pulling somebody out of school, especially if there's other circumstances going on. In my case with my daughter, she is very anti change, even if it's good change. And so it was a difficult, difficult year of transition. So, my best advice is always give yourself that whole first year to transition. We talked a few episodes about deschooling. I think that process is really important. Um, if you're pulling somebody out of school and it's new to you, it's new to them, you're learning a whole new dynamic in your relationship. If you've never had them, if they've always been in school, in brick and mortar school, not only is this whole teacher homeschooling gig new to you, it's also a different dynamic in your relationship. It's brand new to your student. They're not used to having mom as teacher. So I think a whole lot of grace, a whole lot of patience is necessary, especially for that first year. Just kind of release your expectations. I know I am the worst about this. I have such high ideals and expectations going into something. And whenever it doesn't meet that, I kind of get devastated. And I've tried to teach myself, go in, just release those expectations and just let it unfold as it's going to happen, And homeschooling is no different. It's a new experience. It's a new way of life, really,
Mhm.
to you and your child. So give yourself grace, give yourself patience, give yourself time. Don't give up yet.
Do not
Give
give
it
up,
some
and
more time.
I think there's been this could lend itself to so much conversation, and we could do a whole show on this. And we have before talked about other things. It might be that you're struggling because the curriculum just isn't right for your child or for you. And
Also true. Yeah.
it's okay to set that aside and try something new. There are
Mhm,
just so many things, but take a break, take a day off and reevaluate what's going on, but do not give up and make sure that you have people around you that you can talk to that are also homeschoolers.
mhm.
Find fellow homeschoolers, not necessarily that you have to do a co-op with or anything, but just to have other moms that you can say, I'm struggling. And they're going to need to
Yes.
come to you and say they're struggling too. And there's
Right.
always, NCHE, it does have a mentor program online. You can, as a member, you can receive free mentor sessions, or you can purchase those. And we
Mhm.
would love to talk to you and help you out in any way that we possibly can.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's one of my favorite things whenever I have a mentor session to be able to just work through a situation like that and say, just look at it having somebody outside of the situation is sometimes helpful to be able to look and say, well, have you thought about this or that? I think it's so helpful. So that's a great suggestion. That was recorded quite a little bit ago, but so applicable to right now. I think the things people are facing, it's just very relevant all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
And so let's look at some homeschool news. And so, coming up this week on Thursday, January the 8th, there is a free online chess workshop. And you can register for that right up until that morning before it starts, just early enough that you can get that link and be able to log in. And that's at nche.com/chess workshop. And then we have our big day coming up in 3 weeks, our NCHE Day at the Hornets. Are you excited, Amanda? Because I know you and your family always go to this.
We do, and we are going. We are so excited. We love that it's on Saturday this year, so Dad can go too without having to take a day off work, and we are super stoked. Let me just tell you guys some of the things that are included in this special day. So it is the Faith and Family Day. There will be a Faith and Family concert. They're going to be announcing those performers soon. And then there are some great fan experiences that your kids get to participate in. The first 80 kids that are registered will get to do the high five line with the players as they come out on the court. That's super exciting. Then the next 32 kids will hold the American flag during the national anthem. They get to be down on the court holding that flag. It's just cool. It's such a cool experience. Um, there's things that the kids can participate in as far as getting to play, getting to do some little 5-on-5 games, basketball games, warm ups, all kinds of things. And we get to go in early and watch the pros warm up, which is super fun. My teenage basketball player loves that part, gets to see some of these players that he really admires and gets to watch them warm up. It's really just an exciting day. It's fun and a great time to be together.
That's awesome. And so those tickets are for sale now. You can find those on our website underneath the field trips section. And so now moving on, we also have another chess day. On Saturday, February the 7th, we will have the Midwinter Chess Tournament at 12:30 p.m. in Kernersville. Now, this is for chess players of all ages from 5 and above. They can be beginners or they've been playing for years. They're welcome to come and play. And you can get all the details and register at nche.com under the activities tab. And we will include links in the show notes below. And be on the lookout for February 18th will be the field trip to the Sullenberger Aviation Museum. And that registration is available online now in the field trip section. And lastly, this is the time for you to be applying for NCHE scholarships. The deadline is March 31st, but you do not want to wait until the end. You want to be looking at that now and gathering all of your documentation together that you need. Don't wait till the last minute. There are categories of academic, arts, community service, athletic, and missions and ministry. And so you'll want to visit Graduate Central on the NCHE website and follow the link to the scholarship program. And again, we'll put that in the show notes below.
Great. That is so exciting. I've had a couple of friends of mine that their kids have won some of those scholarships, and it really is just helpful. I mean, every little bit helps, and it was really exciting for them to fill out the application and then to find out they won. It was really neat. So I love that. Make sure you check that out.
Very good.
Now, as always, we want to hear from you. I hope that this show is helpful for you. It's encouraging. Um, just gives you a boost every week in your homeschool. But we want to hear from you. If you have any feedback, if you have any questions, you have anything you want us to talk about on the show, please let us know. We really do look at every single message that we get. So you can reach us at thehomeschoolshow@nche.com. And don't forget to help us out by liking, subscribing, leave us some comments. We love those too. Those are super fun. From me and from Melanie, Happy New Year, and keep homeschooling with confidence and joy.